I had planned on doing this video live. I really wanted to do it live. But when I went back to get the 2 books, they were gone. And so I want to be able to show pictures, so I have to tape. Otherwise, I wanted to do it live. And yeah, I know I've already done 3 Valentine's one. I hadn't planned on doing a 4th. I had no intention of doing a 4th one. I hope you watched Cozy Mystery Valentines yesterday. We have contemporary romance coming up next week, and the week after we have new releases is the other one. Then we'll be getting into March and St. Patrick's Day. I've got a couple of different unique ones coming up for them. But welcome to the D. Louise book series, KRSTINA. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy smashy stuff going on here. And this is a spur of the moment thing. So there's really not too much planning. But my question is, would you give this book to someone as a Valentine's Day present or to be read on Valentine's Day? That's the question. It will be the last book I show. Because when I saw this at my library, that was my first thought. Who in their right mind, unless of course the person is a fan of this particular author, but who in their right mind would give this particular author to someone on Valentine's Day of all days? It boggles the mind. So see, what happened was, I saw this display at my library, and I don't want to, 2 of the books are missing, so we're going to put them here. But I saw this display, and I saw this particular book, and I said to myself, who in their right mind thinks that's a Valentine's Day book? So, we got 3 books. I have no books. So 3 books with pictures, and then we're going to get to the rest of the books. The first book, both of these books, well, there's 3 books, but 5 covers. The first book only has 1 cover that I know of. The School for Good Mothers. One lapse in judgment lands a young mother in a government reform program where custody of her child hangs in the balance in this surreal, remarkable, infuriating debut novel of Jasmine Chan, The School for Good Mothers. Frida, Frida Liu, is struggling. She doesn't have a career worthy of Chinese immigrant parent sacrifices. She can't pursue her husband Gus to give up his wellness-obsessed younger mistress. Only with Harriet, their cherubic daughter, does Frida finally obtain the perfection expected of her. Harriet may be all she has, but she is just enough. Until Frida has a very bad day. The state has its eye on mothers like Frida, the ones who check their phones, letting their children get injured on the playground, who let their children walk home alone. Because of one moment of poor judgment, a host of government officials will now determine if Frida is a candidate for a Big Brother-like institution that measures the success or failure of the mother's devotion. So you'll have to see it. I'll post the picture here. And I also want to mention, there's this a website called Nextdoor, and it's for neighborhoods, and you talk about what's going on in your neighborhood. This lady posted a picture of a car, full license plate in view. The guy left the kid in the car while he went inside to get his Chick-fil-A. He was gone for 8 minutes. And they were screaming and yelling that he should have just gone through the drive-thru. He should not have left the child in the car. And apparently it was in like the small shopping area, and he did it twice. He left the child alone in the vehicle for more than 8 minutes one time, and I don't know how many times the second one. They said something about a second occurrence. But he went inside the Chick-fil-A to get his order. He couldn't have gone through the drive-thru. He left an infant in their infant carrier in his car. This woman was livid. Alright, so that's that one. Then This one, I noticed that it has two separate covers. There's the pink one that was in the display, whatever I did with the picture. The pink one that was in here. And then it has a different one for mass market. So it's called Quick Step to Murder by Ella, ELLA BARRICK. What if your dance partner, business partner, fiance partner was stepping out with another woman? That's exactly what happened to Stacy Grayson, who shares ownership of a ballroom dancing studio with the man who broke her heart, Rafe Acosta. But when Stacy discovers Rafe's dead body in the studio one dark night, the police suspect her of killing him. To clear her name and save her studio, Stacy teams up with Rafe's estranged cousin Argentina Tave to find the real killer. If Stacy doesn't watch her step, the killer may make her dance her last. All right, the last picture is one of the authors that I'm gonna try and cover in my videos. Murder in the Book Lover's Loft. I really wanted this one, and someone else grabbed it before I could. For bibliographies who love Rita Mae Brown and Alexander McCall, author Ellery A. Adams is sure to delight with her newest novel set in a Virginia book themes resort, Storytown Hall. Jane and her fiancé Edwin are headed to North Carolina coast for a much-needed vacation. Their harborside loft has floor-to-ceiling bookcases and breathtaking views, but Jane's hope of exploring the town with her man are stymied when Edwin steps on a stingray. Things take an even less romantic turn when Jane stumbles across a dead body. Instead of taking leisurely beach strolls, Jane is suddenly on a literary chase through time, unearthing a dark secret in her family tree that threatens all she holds dear in Storytown. And it'll take a whole village to make amends for the past and stop a madman bent on exacting justice in the present. So I'll show both those covers here. Sandy! Come over here. Come here. Come here. She's screaming bloody murder over there. She's just looking at me. All right, now, the physical books. I think they were chosen because they were pink. I have no idea how the library chose these books, but these are the books my library chose for their Valentine's Day display. So the first one is Karen Kingsbury. When we were young, more than 1 million fans follow Noah and Emily Carter's lives on Instagram since Noah's stunning proposal to their lavish wedding and beyond. But the couple's actual life is no fairy tale, and Noah's obsession with social media leaves them on the brink of divorce. Noah plans to leave in the morning, but when he awakens, Emily is gone and the kids are years older. As in A Christmas Carol, strange events continue, and Noah's certain he's 20 years older, becomes desperate for a second chance. Now it would take a miracle to return to yesterday. Sounds good. All right, let's put this down here. Oh, there's another Karen Kingsbury. I didn't realize there was two. Chasing Sunsets. Though Mary Catherine loves her wealthy parents, her lifestyle never appealed to her. She pursues meaning through their charity work, giving away part of herself, but never her heart. She lives in Los Angeles with her roommate, Sammy, and volunteers at a youth center with coach Tyler Ames and LA Dodger Marcus Dillinger. Despite Mary Catherine's intention to stay single, she finds herself drawing close to Marcus, and then their building romance offers an exciting life she never dreamed of. That is until she receives devastating news from her doctor, news that alters her future and forces her to make a rash decision. When We Were Vikings, Andrew David MacDonald. For Zelda, a Viking enthusiast who lives with her older brother Gert, life is best lived through some basic rules. One smile means thank you for doing something small that I liked. First, fist bumps and dabs equal respect. 3. Strange people are not appreciated in her home. Tomatoes must go in the middle of the sandwich and not get the bread wet. But when Zelda finds out that Gert has resorted to some questionable and dangerous methods to make money to stay afloat, Zelda launches her own quest to be legendary. It isn't long before Zelda finds herself in a battle that tests the reach of her heroism, her love for her brother, and the depth of the Viking strength. Jodi Thomas, Promise Me, Texas. On a midnight train 4 hours away from her wedding, Beth McMurray discovers the devastating truth about the powerful senator she's about to marry. Beth is convinced that nothing could make the stormy night worse until the train wrecks and she stumbles straight into the arms of an outlaw. Andrew McLaughlin doesn't believe in loving except between the pages of his writings. He loved deeply once and thinks he'll never survive another loss. To save a friend, he climbs aboard a train heading toward Dallas. In the moment before the train crashes, he saves a beautiful woman and is injured in the fall. He wakes up to find she's claimed him as her fiancé, and now they're both on the run, destined to do everything it takes to make an unexpected promise of love come true. Ah. Kim Vogel, Song of My Heart. Sadie Wagner has always been devoted to her family, so when her stepfather is injured and can't work, she decides to leave home and accept a position as a clerk at the Mercantile in Gold Tree, Kansas. Gold Tree offers the opportunity to use her God-given singing talent, though the promised opera is far different from what she imagined. With her family needing every cent she can provide, Sadie will do anything to keep her job. Thad McCain comes to Gold Tree at the request of the town council. Bootlegging operations have plagued Gold Tree, and Thad believes he can find the culprit after he earns enough money doing sheriff work. He wants to use it to pay for his training to become a minister. Thad is immediately attracted to a beautiful singer who performs in Aza's Bacta's unusual opera house. But when he hears her practicing body tunes, he begins to wonder if she's far less innocent than she seems. And when Sadie appears to be part of the very crimes he's come to investigate, is there any hope that love will blossom between them? Laura Snelling, Kirsty Guerin, Fields of Bounty. Lilac Nielsen's dream has come true. Reverend Ethan Pritchard has finally noticed her, yet she must balance this new courtship with the pursuit of another dream, the publication of her artwork in a New York paper. She has secretly been submitting a series of drawings under a pen name, and if anyone traces the drawing back to her and finds out where Lilac and her sisters have settled, the entire Nielsen family could be in danger. Smoke! Come here, Smoke. I know Mommy's got books everywhere. Come here, Smoke. Come here, Smoke. The late comer, Jean HANFF KORELITZ. The Latecomer follows the story of a wealthy New York City-based Oppenheimer family, from the first meeting of parents Salo and Joanna under tragic circumstances to their triplets born during the early days of IVF. As children, the three siblings, Harrison, Lewin, and Sally, feel no strong family bond and cannot wait to go their separate ways, even as their father becomes more distant and their mother more desperate. When the triplets leave for college, Joanna, faced with being truly alone, makes the decision to have a fourth child. And that's the latecomer. Alexander McCall Smith, The Peppermint Chronicles. Summer has come to Scotland Street. The long days have promised its residents to engage in flights of fancy. Some, like the Duke of Johannesburg, plan to create a micro-light seaplane, literal flights, and some, like the vain Bruce Anderson's idea of settling down with one of his many admirers, are more metaphorical. With the domineering Irene off pursuing an academic challenge, Stuart and Bertie are free to indulge in summer fun. Stuart reconnects with an old acquaintance over refreshing peppermint tea, while Bertie takes his friend Ranald Braveheart McPherson to the circus. Beverly Jenkins, The Tempest. It had the pink spine. The kind of mail-order bride greets her intended with a bullet instead of a kiss. One Reagan Carmichael, an independent spirit equally at home in denims and dresses. Shooting Dr. Colton Lee in the shoulder is an honest error, but soon Reagan wonders if her entire plan to marry a man she's never met is a mistake. Colton, who's buried his heart along with his first wife, insists he only wants someone to care for his daughter, yet Reagan is drawn to the unmistakable desire in his gaze. Should I have not grabbed them all? Could take them back tomorrow. Patty Callahan Henry, The Favorite Daughter. 10 years ago, Leonard Donahue experienced a wedding day betrayal so painful that she fled the small town of Waterson, South Carolina, and reinvented herself in New York City. Though now a freelance travel writer, the one place she rarely goes is home until she learns of her dad's failing health. Returning to Waterson means seeing the sister she has avoided for a decade and the brother who suffers the burden of his sister's rift. While Alzheimer's steals her father's memories, the siblings rush to preserve his life in stories and photographs. As the secret past brings Lena's own childhood into focus, it sends her on a journey of discovery of the true meaning of home. Pretty Revenge. Emily Liebert. Carrie O'Malley, jobless and in an unfulfilling relationship, can isolate the singular moment to her life when things veered off course. The night she was irrevocably wronged by someone who admired. 18 years later, when Carrie sees the very woman she destroyed her life on television, a fire ignites inside her. The stakes are high, but she'll stop at nothing to achieve the retribution she deserves. Jordan Pearson is a gilded New Yorker who appears to have it all. Wealth, glamour, successful, handsome husband, and a thriving wedding concierge business. No one knows the truth about her and the dark shadows of the past. Linda Howard, Diamond Bay. Rachel Jones wasn't looking for trouble or a man, but in Cal Sabin, she found both. On a hot summer's night, Cal is washed up barely alive on a Florida beach and into Rachel's life. Their love blossoms as he recovers from his injuries by falling in love with Cal. Rachel has put her own life in danger from the forces that want him dead. Okay. Madeline Hunter, The Counterfeit Mistress. A refugee from war in France, MADELINE has established herself in the fringes of London society and welcomes the gossip that she is a spy. The more eyes watching her, the better protected she is, and better chances of saving her father's life. A warrior at heart, Gavin Norwood, Viscount Kendall, would still be in uniform if not for his oldest brother's untimely death. Kendall doesn't trust the French or their fame fatales. He's ready to do whatever it takes to unmask her. Oh, okay. Um, these Haunt Your Heart Out. Homebody Lex McCall loves her sleepy Vermont town and quiet bookstore job. After her family, friends, and exes all move away to seek futures elsewhere, Lex set one rule: no dating tourists, newcomers, or anyone else who is bound to leave her behind. When the bookshop owner, eager to loud off the supposedly haunted building, offers to sell the store to Lexi at an unbelievable price, Lexi jumps at the chance to further put down roots. Then handsome stranger James stops by the bookstore. Lex assumes he's just another tourist passing through, but it turns out he's part of a ghost hunting documentary crew that's looking into the many verified ghost stories in town. Lex can't resist getting involved, especially because the so-called ghosts are actually made-up stories from haunted happenings, her hobby vague from a decade prior. Worried her ghost-faking script will get out and ruin her chance to buy the store, she tampers with the ghost hunters' research and screws their results. After all, James' stay is only temporary and her career dreams come first. Okay? The truth according to Ember. Ember Lee Cardinal has not always been a liar, not for anything that counted at least, but her job research is not going great, and when her resume is rejected for the 37th time, she takes matters into her own hands. She gets creative in listing her qualifications and the answers the ethnicity questions on the application with a lie, a half-lie technically. No one wanted Native American Ember, but white Ember just landed her dream accounting job on Park Avenue, Oklahoma City. Accountant Ember thrives in corporate life and leaves her love life to be looking up a well. Duano Colson, the IT guy and fellow native who caught her eye on the first day, seems to actually be interested in her too. Despite her unease over the no dating policy at work, they start to see each other secretly, which somehow makes it even harder. But when they're caught in a compromising position on a work trip, a shaming colleague blackmails them. Ah, not good. TARRYN Fisher, The Wrong Family. Juno was wrong about Winnie Crouch before moving in with Crouch family. Juno thought Winnie and her husband Nigel had the perfect marriage. Only now that Juno's living in their beautiful house, she sees cracks in the crumbling facade. Still, Juno isn't one to judge. After her grim diagnosis, the retired therapist simply wants a place to live out the rest of her days in peace. But peace is shattered the day Juno overhears a chilling conversation between Winnie and Nigel. She shouldn't get involved, but this shouldn't be her last chance to make a few things right. The Chocolate Falcon Fraud, Joanne Carl. The Warner Pier Tourism Board is kicking off its Tough Guys and Private Eyes Film Festival with the Maltese Falcon. So Lee Woodard and Aunt Nettie are preparing a delicious chocolate noir tie-in, Tennis Hughes chocolate. But Lee isn't prepared for a face from the past. Her former stepson, Jeff, who wound up being accused of murder the last time he showed up. He says he's only in town to see Bogart on the big screen. Honest, then Jeff goes missing and a body falls at Lee's feet when she opens the front door, just like in the movie. Okay, here it is. Would you give this particular, you can give this author as a gift. This is a very good author, a very popular author. He's fantastic. The question is, would you give it as a Valentine's Day gift? That's the question on the table. Would you give this puppy on Valentine's Day? That's the question. The final to the New York Times best-selling trilogy that began with Mr. Mercedes and Finders Keepers, Brady Hartzell, perpetrator of the Mercedes Massacre, where 8 people were killed and many more were badly injured, has been in the Lake Region's Traumatic Brain Injury Clinic for 5 years in a vegetative state. According to his doctors, anything approaching a complete recovery is unlikely, but behind the drool and stare, Brady is awake and in possession of deadly new powers that allows him to wreak unimaginable havoc without ever leaving his hospital room. And if Bill Hodges and Holly Gibbet don't figure out a way to stop him, they'll be victims themselves. So there you go. Would you give this book as a Valentine's Day gift? You can give it as a gift for, somebody wants it for the birthday, somebody wants it Christmas, the holiday gift, just the gift itself. But would you give it as a Valentine's Day gift is what I'm saying here. And also, if you want to honor me, I know it would be an absolute miracle, and I know it's not possible, and I know it's unrealistic to think about it. But I need 400 subscribers in 24 hours. I have this dream that I could possibly hit 1,000 subscribers for my birthday, but my birthday's in 24 hours. So, well, actually 48 hours. So, who knows? Go figure. Let me know. Would you give this book for a Valentine's Day present? Just saying. Have a good one. And I wish I could have done this live. Have a good one. Don't forget Star Trek Next Gen on Fridays, flashbacks Monday on, and don't forget If Then on Fridays. And if you saw my Valentine's video yesterday and you saw the bear with his mouth moving and no sound kind of, please go watch the short where you can actually hear the bear. The computer won't play external sounds for whatever reason, so you couldn't hear the bear. He sings Cherish. So have a good one. Enjoy your day.